back to Level Up Sports. I'm your host, Matthew.
And I'm your co-host, Zach.
And we're back after a long hiatus.
It's like a year almost. I think it has been a year.
Yeah, because I think the last time we recorded, the PlayStation 5 wasn't out. Cyberpunk actually had potential.
Damn, that is true. And then one of those things didn't go well. So, and we know which one it was.
The podcast ending, yeah, that's the thing that didn't go well.
Oh,
So after a year, what do we return with that was so pressing that we needed to come back with? Well, let's start with what we've been playing lately.
Played Avengers, then we replayed Dying Light, which was really fun because, well, I'm ready for Dying Light 2, but let's talk about Avengers because that's what we really played the most, I feel like.
Start with that game. We played that a lot because Avengers it's a little bit different than Dying Light. Dying Light, it's more story driven. I mean, it's open world, but Avengers is more like I would kind of compare it to Destiny in a way.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, with the loot system and similar quest star and all that mess.
Yeah, you enjoyed it because he hasn't played superhero games like I have. I played the new Spider-Man, the Miles Morales, and 2018, and played the Batman game. So he hasn't played a lot. So let's hear his thoughts first.
Well, technically, it's not my first superhero game. I played the first one I played was Origins, and it was cool. I mean, I just never really have been into superhero games when I was a child or right now. But honestly, the new Spider-Man game that's coming out in next year or this year? I mean, that looks, from what little bit we've seen, I mean, it seems kind of interesting because they're adding Venom into it and both Miles and Peter. But overall, Avengers wasn't that bad. I mean, I enjoyed playing it when we did play it. I mean, it does get boring after a while because you keep doing the same stuff over and over. But, I wish there was a little bit more heroes like, Strange and War Machine and Falcon and all that. But overall, I mean, it wasn't a bad game like how it was when it first came out. And I actually really enjoyed playing it. So
I'm going to disagree with you with the heroes thing. I don't think the heroes is the issue with the game. I think it's the selection of villains you face. The variety. The issue with the game is, to me, of course the endless variety where it feels like you get going nowhere. All you're facing is robots and more robots, bigger robots, and then maybe some occasional people. But really, the problem with Avengers, I agree that they should add more heroes, but I really think the core game is the issue. Like when you one of the villains we face, which I don't even know who the villain is. I think it's from the main story, is Monica. Who would know who that character is? Like, I'm just saying, there's not like Ultron or Thanos. I don't think Thanos would be good for this game. More iconic villains. Like, I'm not even saying that. You have to have huge, with all the robots, why not Ultron? More to the theme and be more iconic.
True.
And then the next issue I have with the game, which we talked about when we were playing, the gear system. When you upgrade your gear and your power level in this game, it doesn't change your appearance.
Yeah, that's a big thing also. I mean, it's kind of stupid that doesn't happen. I'm trying to think of games that actually does happen in. The Assassin's Creeds, they all did it.
Borderlands.
Yeah, Borderlands did it.
I think Destiny did it as well.
I don't think they did it as much, though, I don't think, but they did do it.
Well, that's what you say, but that's it's like the point is to grind, to get better power level. But it's like you're not even changing your appearance.
True.
Another issue I had, how you talked about heroes earlier, and they should, Doctor Strange, War Machine. I can agree with that there. I know I said earlier, I'm not saying yeah, but then the hero roster that they have, I don't like either. Why have two versions of Hawkeye? I know they're different in many ways.
Yeah, Hawkeye #1. No one likes Kate Bishop. Now we're going to get a lot of hate for saying that. I'm going to get a lot of hate, probably. I don't know. Is there any Kate Bishop fans, really?
Probably since the Hawkeye show came out. I feel the problem is it's like Miles Morales. Until Spider-Verse came out, no one knew who he was, kind of thing. And then people learned, oh, this is actually kind of cool. I think that's going to be the same thing with Kate Bishop. The shows in the upcoming movies will make her more popular than she was originally.
I'm trying to think of another hero that's kind of in Avengers. Hulk.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. You have a big green man that can't even do anything really. All he does is toss the ground up and throw rocks. He doesn't even have like a real big power aspect like what you would think he would.
I would say Hulk is probably out of the characters. I mean, yes, it's the CPU, but out of all the characters, I think Hulk's the worst.
Mm-hmm. It just depends because the AI, whenever like you just have like AI teammates, they don't really do anything with the characters. Like they don't put them to their full potential. But once like you start playing as a character and like you unlock the abilities and all that, the character actually is kind of valuable in certain situations. But another like main issue I have, the combos and the combo finishers, they don't make sense. They do nothing. The only combo finisher that really is like enjoyable to get is when you're fighting the big mechs and the big spiders. That's basically it. Like the random infantry does nothing. You would think it would instantly finish. No, it does like half damage. It makes no sense.
Because this isn't the Arkham series or the 2018 Spider-Man series. Well, like if you like, I think like a combo of 10 or something, you'd have a takedown, but that takedown would take down that thug or whatever you were facing. Like this, it's like yes, you do some damage, but like like Captain America does this cool takedown, but it's like he didn't even take out the guy. So
I'm just gonna throw my shield off of this dude's face and drop kick him. No, he's still alive. But I think what the main like combo finisher thing it comes from is though when like you break their guard, you finish them. I think it's if you just break their guard and then you can just do that. But it also gives you health. But I feel like I think in other games it also does that.
other games, I think you're right about the Spider-Man game. I think it does it, but the Arkham series, it's usually like how all the other games, like if you play like for you like to play shooters like COD and stuff. It regenerates your health rather than gives you health. Yeah, I feel like this game is a disappointment in so many ways because I think the open I like the idea of them being open world, but I don't like that it's just like okay, you do this one objective and then it's like okay, then it's done. Like you just go to one place like on a map. I wish it was like an open world
Yeah,
I don't think Crystal Dynamics was the right company to do it.
true.
The problem is they haven't perfected like with a lot of characters yet. They haven't perfected like just one character. There hasn't been a good Iron Man game. There hasn't been a good Thor game. Hawkeye, Widow. So how are you expect to make a game with all those characters when they haven't even made one good game of just those characters?
I don't even think they would make a game for those types of characters though, unless if it's like the original MCU.
I'm not sure because you have the Game Awards revealed a Wonder Woman game. You have a Wolverine game. Well, that's not going to probably include Hugh Jackman. So I think superhero games are profitable. They just have to be good because the Spider-Man game has nothing to do with Tom Holland and all the other ones. I mean, yes, you have suits, but still, it's his own thing. I think the problem is the issue is with you say that it's not going to work. It's just because there hasn't been something like it. It can work. It's just the problem is the only thing you can think of Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. Until making more with Iron Man that doesn't include Robert Downey Jr., then the stigma of it's not MCU, I don't care, people will get over it.
I mean, I remember when they remastered Spider-Man 2018 for the PS5 and people were getting mad that it wasn't the same Spider-Man.
Still are.
It's the little things that people get mad about, but that was not really a little thing. That was kind of a big thing if you think,
Well, yeah,
it changed the whole character. But
get new animations. It's I don't know if whatever your favorite game. It's like they completely change what the character, what it looks like. And it would be fine if it was like, okay, the game came out in 2009, and it's like, okay, we're gonna res it up, and this is the best we could do. But it's like this game came out 3 years ago. Well, 3 years ago, and now 2 years later, you're changing it already. I think that's kind of it for Avengers, unless you have anything else to add.
I do not have anything else to add to that game. That was interesting, a disappointment, but overall kind of disappointing.
So moving on to Dying Light now.
Dying Light. I played it when it first came out, and I don't really remember anything because I was let's see here. It came out
2015.
Somewhere, yeah. Well, when a lot of good games came out in 2016, we'll put it that way. So it was kind of hard to remember how it was, but going back to it and having all the DLCs and stuff like that, it's kind of good to play again. Because I don't know, just a part like parkour and like a zombie game together. At first, it's kind of weird, but it kind of works in a way. I know it still has like your character development system where you get skill points from leveling up. Well, there's what, 4 now technically skill points you can earn. If you play the following, you get driving, but there's survival, power, and agility. But yeah, once you like level those up, you can get like certain abilities like a drop kick, and then there's like a branch off to that where your drop kick does more damage. And then with the agility, it's kind of like you unlock certain things to your agility, like you can run more and jump more and all that with that was an energy. So it's just basically like a normal game where you level up and get better.
Yeah, now you come from your perspective. You played in 2015. I played it a little bit, but this was basically my first run through of the game. And from like what you said, I can agree with certain aspects. Like the parkour, I just said, but I don't think was executed perfectly. But again, it's a 6-0 game, so you have to take that into account.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the sequel they will improve on that, and I think that's what makes it a better zombie game than most. Also, I think I love that it's open world. I think that really makes it stand out. Like sub games, you have games like we played Dead Rising with like you're in a mall, Dead Rising 2, where you are in a mall, and it's kind of cool, but it's like it gets kind of repetitive after a while. Like
I ran by the store 6 times already.
And then another game we played too was World War Z. Like most zombie games, it's like, oh, we need to defend this, barricade this. It's kind of your basic survival zombie game. And all games just kind of feel the same to me in a way. I want to just explore myself. Like that's what I like about Dying Light. You decide your fate. Also, another thing, I don't think you mentioned this. You mentioned like, upgrading was pretty, but you didn't mention how your weapons break.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Where you can only repair it a certain amount of time, which I think makes it kind of interesting. It adds to like the survival element. Where it's not like in most zombie games, it's like okay, I just have this gun. But now it's like I loot the zombie. Oh wow, I got gauze. So now I have gauze and alcohol. So now I can make med kits. And I think that really adds to it.
I mean, like most zombie games are very similar into how they play, like War Z, Sniper Armory 4, Back 4 Blood. They're all very similar in a way. But what Dying Light did was something completely different, and they did really good at it. So that's why I'm kind of ready for Dying Light 2. They said they improved on the parkour, so we will see how that is. Because the parkour, like you said, was very janky. So they said they fixed most of it, and they added new moves. We'll see how that is.
The only issue is 7 years after the original. That goes well lately in gaming. There's always something like, the launch always goes bad. That's the part that's going to interest me the most is the launch because, talking about launches lately, it's, you have an up and down. I think, you have a game like Battlefield or Cyberpunk, as we mentioned in the beginning of the episode, where it was like these games had so much potential, but then it's all these bugs and stuff. And then you have to wait until they get fixed. And then, yeah, it might be a good game by 6 months, but your audience is gone by then.
Yeah, but knowing the Battlefield, that was a lot of people were disappointed with the launch. I was kind of disappointed, but I was kind of already expecting it to be bad off launch. It's Battlefield. It's DICE. Come on. It's kind of known since Battlefield 4 that a launch is going to be terrible.
Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5.
Yeah, and then 4 to 5 months down the road, it's a really good game. Battlefield 2042 actually did something. They fixed it in about a week and a half, and now it's kind of an enjoyable game to play. I mean, the thing with Battlefield is you need people to play with. You cannot really play it alone. That's the thing. Like with COD, you can play by yourself and with friends. But with Battlefield, it's more tactical in a way where you actually need team play to do it. And now with their new Portal mode, you can really go tactical and make it super realistic and make milsim servers where you have like realistic battles in a video game, and it's like super cool. That's honestly something really interesting. I've always wanted like a super realistic tactical shooter to be on console, and I know Battlefield's not really the best at doing that, but when you give content creators the ability to do that, and they've already like made games, well, servers and stuff like that in other games that do that, and they move it to Battlefield, it makes a whole nother genre of game.
I agree with the points you made. I think the thing is, I played COD, I played Battlefield before. I think Battlefield is just better, but in my opinion, because I'm not I think COD is more like you said, it was more you could go off with your you could go off by yourself and you don't really need a team. It's more kill objective modes. I mean, they have domination. I guess I can't say we don't, but I agree with you. Yeah, Battlefield. The thing what I like Battlefield is like you said, it's tactical, but I think it's I call Battlefield Battlefield is the casual tactical shooter.
Mm-hmm.
It's where people like me that don't really play shooters as much as you can just enjoy themselves, and it's not like it's a sweaty at 12 o'clock. It's I mean, for those games, I'm happy people enjoy them. Not like how superhero games are for you. You were never kind of interested in them. I'm kind of the same way with shooters. I enjoy them, playing for Battlefield's the one I really like, sink my teeth. But besides that, I'm not really into shooters as much as you, so I'm just gonna end there.
The sad thing is with Call of Duty, they're going more focused on Warzone, and it's kind of apparent it's been the way for the past 2-3 games that came out. But I've been playing the new map. I'm enjoying it. I actually have. I thought I wasn't going to enjoy it at all. I thought I was just going to play it for a week and be done with it. But I've been enjoying it. And honestly, it's something fresh, something new. We had the same map for 2 games. Well, they did change the map, but it didn't change it. It was the same map, but they just changed the POIs in it and all that. But now with Vanguard, you have a whole new map, smaller, and you're on a Pacific island. But I mean, I feel like battle royale type games have kind of ruined gaming in a way. Yes, they were popular back in when they first came out with. I feel like Fortnite was the main one that really bumped the BR type of games to existence. I mean, we had H1, and if you really want to go back, the Minecraft Hunger Games, that back. Fortnite in its prime, I will say, was one of the best games ever to come out. But now it's not. It's boring. It's the same. I mean, if you try to play today, you're going to get basically destroyed. I mean, you have people that have been playing it since it came out, and they're like crackheads at it. They don't put it away. And they're super good at the game, and they don't make it enjoyable. That's why with Warzone, people argue that SBMM, skill-based matchmaking, is ruining it. I could really care less. It's just one game. You're going to have your ups and downs with it. There's always going to be stuff that make it bad and good and all that. I mean, that's just the way video games are.
I think shooters are all the hardest genre to make, though. I really do. Because it's you have to find that fair line. You have all the guns. It's I got to make them balanced. It's well, this one's not powerful enough. So you boost that one. And then it's now that's too overpowered. And it's just and I think it varies from match to match. I don't think other games, if you play Last of Us, or you play story-based games, they're more or even Halo, you play the campaign. It's that's more okay, I enjoyed it because it's open world or it's linear, whatever the story or whatever the game type is. But shooters, it depends on match to match.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about Warzone. It's for you, you're oh, I like this moment, but then it's one game you're this is the best. I'm loving Warzone again, and then a week later, well, you play a string of bad matches, and then you're
you're done. You just don't want to play it. You're tired of it, and then you want to hop back on the next day and get the same thing, and you're okay, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, it's if you get a string of bad games, it's it ruins oh, you're didn't you say a week ago this was best wars event? No, I never said that. It's the hard line to face because you said with Fortnite and all these games, it's how do you find the thin line? I mean, you have you're well, it was good back now, but then you have people now that'd be well, it's actually in its prime, because it depends what type of experience you want, and I would say skill level too.
You want to talk about sports now?
We talked about level up. Now we need to talk about the sports.
Ooh, did you know on this date, Charles Woodson was named the 1997 Heisman Trophy winner, and he was the first primary defensive player to win the award?
Yeah, but don't they do Heisman usually at this time, in December?
Yeah. What's his name won it for Alabama?
Bryce Young?
Yeah, Bryce Young. I was kind of surprised about that. I think he's the first Alabama quarterback to win it.
Who's ever in the NFL right now that's popular, that's the only one I know. Because Alabama players usually, unless it's on defense, but usually on offense, they really don't. Like quarterbacks, don't really. The Alabama quarterbacks never translate in the NFL. I guess college is just different. So looking at looking at the NFL, there's one team that sticks out to me the most. I think Zach knows which team I'm going to talk about.
Yep, go ahead and talk. Go ahead, man.
About the Bills, and probably one of the worst teams in the NFL. They're so inconsistent. I mean, I'm not going to blame it. Like, I think they have a good defense, but it's consistency, and I think that's kind of the whole NFL this year. But how do you you get shut out by Tampa basically the first half? I think you only scored 3, and then
they only scored 3, and then they came back in the second half and dropped 14 in the fourth to make it go into overtime, and then you let Tom Brady throw a 63-yarder to whoever his name is.
Yeah,
it was a 58-yarder, but still.
Yeah, but they had the ball first. It's like you could have done stuff when they had the ball. I just feel like they have kind of let down. I feel like. I think Josh Allen has regressed a lot. But again, his spike last year was so big that, kind of expected a down year. But it's the offense just looks so stagnant. You just look, it's there's games they should have won. And it's they'll make the playoffs and stuff. But the question is, will the Patriots win the division?
I don't think they will.
I think they can.
Mac Jones has been playing good the past couple games, and he's kind of came up more.
The game that decides the division is next 2 weeks, the 26th, where the Bills play the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about the Patriots is, if the Patriots win against Buffalo, they're going to win the division.
Mm-hmm.
And their schedule, they got the Colts, which I think they might lose that game.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have Jacksonville, which that's a joke. And then Miami, which I think it wouldn't be shocking. Mm-hmm. So I think they could I think they probably can at least split.
Yeah.
Then my question is then, if New England loses against the Colts and the Buffalo, and then they both win out, I wonder who gets I'm not sure about this. Who gets the division?
See, that's one thing I kind of wish, if that does happen, I kind of like what the NBA started doing, the playing game. I kind of wish they would do that.
No.
It would, okay. It would be interesting. You cannot deny that would be interesting.
I'm not going to deny, but the different thing is NBA, it's not people aren't getting injured. You're at least having someone get injured a game. Josh Allen got injured yesterday. So, are you really, Josh Allen's going to get injured just to get a better seeding in the playoffs? Oh, I got the 4th seed, or I got the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
And then another team I wanted to mention, the Bengals.
We got 3 in the dang Niners.
How do we gauge the Bengals? Are they a playoff team, or are they not going to make it?
Well, they have Baltimore in their division, but Lamar just got hurt. Was it a serious injury, or was it
high ankle sprain?
So he'd probably be out for a week or 2.
That's an issue too for Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore plays next week.
Yeah, they
play Green Bay.
Ooh.
Cleveland plays the Packers too. I don't think Cleveland's been playing good either.
Cleveland's been a disappointment. I thought they were actually kind of going to do something this year. They're 7-6. That's not bad. It's still a positive record, but they play the Raiders this week. So,
going back to the Bengals, it's I don't know, because look at the upcoming schedule. It's Denver, which I think they can take care of. Baltimore, that's a question mark. Kansas City, I'm not sure. Kansas City has been playing well lately, and if they're trying to get the number 1 seed, Kansas City is going to have their starters. Then you have Cleveland, which they lost to Cleveland 41-16 in November. So looking at their schedule, I don't think the Bengals make the playoffs.
They're 3rd in the standings for the AFC North, behind somehow. Oh, that's how, because of points allowed and all that.
I guess I have to look at the playoff picture real quick. Talk more about the Bengals or whatever team you want to talk about.
Actually, I do want to talk about one team, the Broncos. They played the Lions. Lions are terrible, but how did rest in peace Demaryius Thomas. Let's just put it at that. How did he even pass?
Said that.
They didn't even said it. So,
going to Denver. I'm looking at the playoff picture. They're 10th right now.
Yeah.
Which is not. It's not bad.
You know what teams kind of surprised me?
What team?
The Saints. I thought they were going to be a whole lot worse. I mean, 6-7 is but I thought they weren't even going to win 5 games this year.
I mean, the quarterback's Taysom Hill, so and depending on their schedule, they're playing the Buccaneers next week. I think they don't, depending on how the rest of their schedule goes, Taysom Hill's like, well, they're not winning a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at the playoff picture right now. I'll go 1 through 7 in the AFC first. So in the number 1 seed right now is New England at 9-4, respectable. They no trades there the bye week this week. And second, number 2 was the Titans at 9-4. Played the Jaguars this week, but really no change from last week. The Chiefs are 9-4 as well. They move up 1 spot from the 4th seed after beating the Raiders. Next, we have the Ravens at 8-5, falling 1 position because of the Browns' loss. We got the Chargers as the 5th seed at 8-5, and they don't change after beating the Giants. We got the Colts going up 3 spots, I think because of the Bills' loss, and they had a bye. And then finally, the Bills are number 7, no change after losing to the Buccaneers. So what do you think of these teams right now in the AFC?
Pretty interesting. Honestly, that's probably
Subject to change?
Yeah.
Which one do you think won't make the playoffs?
The AFC? Ooh. I'm trying to find a dang playoff picture. Where is it at?
I'm going to say, if I'm looking at the AFC right now, the team I don't think makes the playoffs might be the Ravens.
That or
Colts maybe.
Yeah, because they play Baltimore. We already said this. Who they play? They play the Packers this week, and then they play the Bengals. Well, that's a win and a loss right there, because we already know they're going to lose against the Packers. That's just guaranteed.
They could beat the Bengals.
I could see them beating the Bengals. I could.
Yeah, and I know the Colts schedule. Next week they have New England.
Oh boy, that's going to be a good game.
On Christmas they have Arizona. And then, they have Las Vegas. They have Las Vegas.
And they got the Jags.
I don't know. I would say this. If the Colts beat the Patriots, I think they can make the playoffs. If they lose to the Patriots, I think they don't make the playoffs.
Looking at the Cardinals schedule, they play the Rams, the Lions, the Colts, the Cowboys, and then the Seahawks. So that's roughly I'm thinking they might go 3-2 on that end, or 4-1. I think they'll lose to somehow. The Colts game is going to be interesting when they play. You think the Rams?
I'm hoping.
Good night.
I mean, I think I win, but if the Rams win, the Packers get the number 1 seed.
True. Yeah, because Arizona is 10-2. Yeah.
Yeah, they're 10-2. Packers are 10-3. Buccaneers. And now moving back to the moving still in the AFC. What team do you think makes the playoff that isn't in the playoff picture right now?
My 3 teams that I'm thinking are the Browns, the Bengals, and Denver. Those are my 3 that I'm thinking, because those 3 teams are 7-6. There's actually 5 teams that are 7-6 in the AFC right now. So honestly, any team that's in that 5 can bounce in and out. Because if Buffalo loses, then Cleveland, if they win, they'll bump up. I'm thinking Denver might make it. I don't know why. They play
this week.
They play the Bengals.
Ooh.
So, and then they play the Raiders. In the year on the Chiefs.
Oh, I don't know about that one now. I think they probably could go 1-3. They maybe beat the Bengals too. I think if they beat the Bengals, I think they might make the playoffs if they can.
The Bengals might be out then, because the Bengals right now Denver is up 61% to 39% to win.
Against the Bengals?
Yeah, the Bengals are probably not going to win that game. I don't think they're going to.
I have odds, though.
Denver has way higher odds. Did I say the Bengals? I'm going to say the Bengals had a higher odd.
The Bengals should win that. So you're saying Denver. I'm
going to Denver.
Agree. I think Denver has been so inconsistent. I think they've been more inconsistent than the Bengals. And they have to all the other teams, like you have to consider the Browns as well, which I probably would say the Browns make it. I think the Browns, I'm looking at these schedules. I'm like, I don't know. I think the team that really is worried about this spot right now has to be the Colts. And I know it's like, well, what about the Bills? They're 7-6 as well, but the 2 games coming up. So I think they can, just.
I think the Colts have probably, let's see here, who has the last 4 games that are hard?
I'd say the Colts.
Either that or
Actually, the funny thing is we're talking about the Colts and like the Ravens not making it, but then I think the Chargers make it then.
Yeah.
Mentioned at all. I think that we're not gonna look at schedule for them, but I'm saying the Chargers, they kind of blow leads. I mean, they blew a lead against the Steelers. They blew a lead against the Bengals, but then they came back and put up more points. But I think the thing is, what can you besides maybe like the top three, like Titans, Patriots, and Chiefs? I think they make the playoffs. The bottom, like at least 4 through 6, to me, I can't judge. AFC is a lot harder to judge than NFC.
Mm-hmm.
NFC, it's pretty locked
Yeah.
for the top 3.
I think the Chargers might win 3 out of their last 4 because they play the Chiefs, Texans, Broncos, and Raiders. They're going to lose to the Chiefs. That's guaranteed.
Are you sure about that, though? They beat them.
Well, yeah, I know they beat them, but
I think you could see an upset. I'm not saying it.
Well, I mean, but they didn't win by that much. They won 30-4. I mean, 24. I thought I said 4. Wow, that's not that big of a win.
Well, I think that's pretty much for the AFC. Now the NFC. I'm not going to mention the first 3 because I think those are a lock. The Cardinals, Packers, and Bucks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's a lock. Like, this is the position in the playoffs. But I'm saying it's a lock for those 3 teams being in the top 3.
Yeah. Arizona, Green Bay, and Tampa. Yeah, those are the top 3 lock guarantee. I would say Dallas is also a lock. I feel like Dallas might be a lock in too. I mean, they're 9-4 right now, and the Rams are 8-4.
If the Rams win tonight, then I think that. But Cowboys, I think the Cowboys and Rams are probably like 4th and 5th. The teams that get interesting are the 49ers and Washington right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the reasons why. I mean, I like that they had an extra playoffs up, and I also don't like it because when you have Washington up there,
it's kind of like, wow.
6 and 7. Like, at least the AFC, you could be like, okay, it's fun.
They'll have positive records. Okay, I'm going to ask you this, though. Which division's harder to play in?
NFC West, by far.
Okay.
Because the North, you have the North, no really competition there. You have the South, no really competition there. Right now, in the NFC West, the Cardinals, the 49ers, and Rams are in the playoffs if the season ends today. If we're talking about, now you're saying in the AFC, I probably would say the NFC North with the Browns, Bengals, Steelers, and Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
What? I answered it. Now, what's your opinion?
I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I just wanted to see what you would say because I already knew that the NFC West was like one of the hardest divisions to play in because technically 4 good teams at any point given in the season. But
you actually brought up a good point. I didn't think about the AFC West. The Raiders, the Chargers.
Oh, yeah. That's not bad. It's kind of funny that the West section of the teams are kind of all even in a way because they have 4 good teams in it at any point given in the season. Well, Denver's kind of borderline. They're kind of even, I would say.
They're even because think about it. You have like the top dogs. You have the for the AFC West. You have like the for NFC West. You have the Cardinals and Rams, and then when you in the AFC West, you have the Chiefs and Chargers. Then you have that borderline team with the 49ers and Broncos, and then finally you have the basement dwellers and what's the team? The Seahawks and Raiders.
Basement dwellers. I saw this thing this morning that said that the Raiders might go in rebuild mode and trade Derek Carr.
But then, okay, if you want to talk about that, what team would you like Derek Carr to go to?
Hypothetically, Pittsburgh. I feel Big Ben's going to retire after this year, and I feel like they want a quarterback that has experience right out of the gate. So I feel like they would trade. Now, who they'll trade for to get Derek Carr, I have no idea.
I think if we're talking about I thought Broncos, but I'm like, that's trade in division though. That's that you can't trade in division for a quarterback if they need a quarterback. I think you might be right with the Steelers, but I think they probably trade out of division. I think a team that no one's really talked about that could maybe Washington.
Yeah, because their quarterback right now is Penicky, and he's not really.
He has moments, but he's not.
I mean, he has almost 3,000 yards and he has 19 touchdowns, but I mean that's still. Yeah.
Remember, Ryan Fitzpatrick was supposed to be the quarterback this year. Oh, another rumor was, you talk about, if we're talking about quarterback rumors, did you hear Russell Wilson?
No.
Russell Wilson wants to get, there's rumor that Russell Wilson wants to be traded At least I heard 2 teams right now.
Ooh.
What
Ooh.
teams do you think Russell Wilson wants to be traded?
Ooh, that's okay. Then that kind of opens up. I'd say Pittsburgh again. But if I have to choose another team other than Pittsburgh,
One will surprise you.
okay, let's do an in-division team and an out-of-division team. In the NFC, a team that he might get traded to, the Lions.
No.
No, I'm actually thinking Washington for in-division.
So you said Washington, and then you Pittsburgh for AFC.
Yeah.
So for NFC, you were in the right division, but instead it was not Washington. It was New York. It was the Giants.
Ooh, get rid of Daniel?
Well, yeah, you want to get.
Oh yeah, I would. Daniel ain't doing nothing.
But I don't really think that's. I don't think Russell Wilson would. Russell Wilson would just point to the same situation he's in, just with a worse defense. I mean, the defense is actually pretty good, but with a worse offense, we wouldn't have an O-line. And for AFC, you said Pittsburgh, which is a good choice, but it's Denver.
Ooh, that would be scary, actually.
I think it's funny because it's like, for you, it's like, like what quarterback should go where? It's like, for me, I keep saying, like, you keep saying Pittsburgh, which is a good choice. And I keep saying the Broncos.
Who's your MVP of the season?
Jonathan Taylor.
I don't really know who mine would be.
Don't say it. Don't say Tom Brady.
Oh, no, I'm not saying Tom Brady.
He's probably going to win it.
He probably will, but I want a defensive player to win it, but there's really no good defensive players right now.
This is how I think MVP probably will go, like the voting. It's going to be Tom Brady that wins it, and it's going to be Aaron Rodgers at number 2, and probably Jonathan. And we're back after someone didn't decide not to charge his laptop. Zach.
Whoa. It was not me. It was not. My laptop is currently plugged up.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Go.
So you said under the radar MVP. One I've heard is Austin Eckler from the Chargers.
Oh wow.
The problem is with MVPs, that it's a quarterback award. Honestly, I think it'd be more interesting to go over the NFL awards rather than just go with the main, MVP.
True. Right, so we already said MVP. We already kind of hinted towards Rookie of the Year, basically, to both offensive, defensive.
I did. You didn't.
Oh well, I'm thinking Mac Jones for offensive Rookie of the Year. For defensive, I have no idea.
I said
Surtain. I could probably say Surtain. No, was Surtain this year? Yeah, Surtain was this year.
Yeah.
But I don't really think he's done that much though. Or I'm blanking. Diggs' brother.
Oh, Trevon Diggs?
Yeah, isn't he a rookie? No, he's not a rookie, is he?
No, he's not a rookie.
Oh, that's what I thought. I would say him, but he's not a rookie. Either that or who's the one linebacker for Dallas that's a rookie?
Micah Parsons?
Yeah, that dude. Yeah, he's pretty good. That's my 2. Just for regular offensive and defensive players of the year, that's kind of
probably TJ Watt.
Yeah, for deep. Yeah, I can see that. Taylor will win it for offensive.
I think that's. I would say that's a lot for me too. Because I mean, usually it's kind of like that. Like that's why I think MVP probably should change. Because MVP is more like fine if you want to give best quarterback award because that's basically what it is. Who's the last player to win MVP that wasn't a quarterback?
AP was the last one to win MVP. Was a non-quarterback.
What did he do that season?
That was his really good year. 2,000-something yards.
2,097 yards.
Yeah, and he was like 9 short, I think, of breaking Eric Dickerson's record, I think.
Derrick Henry had a good year last year. Defensive player of the year. I mean, there's always. I think TJ Watt's always up there, and Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett's on 99 overall watch in Madden.
He's a 99 or he's on?
He's on the watch of becoming a 99.
How isn't he?
Helmet beater.
Oh my God.
Hey, but Mr. Rudolph deserved it. Who's gonna who do you think's coach of the year? That's like a most random topic.
Coach. Well, no, that's not a random topic because that's going to the awards. If I'm being honest, this might be biased, but I think Matt LaFleur wins it.
I can see it.
But the problem is, coach of the year is hard because like last year they put the Browns coach. which I think he deserved it. But it's like, how do you like? I think the issue with Coach of the Year, how do you judge?
I think how they should judge it is off the last year's team performance to this year's. I think that's how they judge it.
Then Cliff Kingsbury's going to win it, the Cardinals coach,
Mm-hmm.
or Bill Belichick.
I don't think Belichick will win it.
I think he does. I think he has. I'm not saying he will, but think about it. The Patriots were 7-9, missed the playoffs, and then 9-4.
Okay, then probably.
I get your point that it should be judged by like how they did last, but how is it? I think that's a hard thing to say because it's like I feel like consistency should be checked too.
Yeah.
Besides those couple, which one does any other one stand out, or just even if you don't know the coach's name, like just a team?
I'm trying to think of like let's see here.
I might have another one.
What do you think?
The Chargers coach, Brandon Staley.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying to take it from your criteria, like improvement. Chargers have improved.
Yeah.
You could even say, I know, depending on how the season, you could say the Bengals coach, but that would be like a dark horse candidate. But I don't think he's really that good of a coach. Yeah. Besides that, that's all I have. I don't know if you have any other coaches.
Do we want to move into a different topic? No.
Why not?
Let's move into NBA. As we know, Kevin Durant is on pace to possibly win MVP. It's guaranteed. Probably him and Curry are like neck and neck in the MVP race, in my opinion. After Durant just dropped 51 last night on the Pistons, but it's the Pistons.
Oh.
But he had good stats to go along with his 51 points. So
I don't watch basketball, so I don't watch the season. Actually, was Saturday with the Warriors and Sixers. I'm going to say the Warriors. I mean, I can't really judge the Warriors. They played good, but they were just not shooting well. They weren't.
They're 21-5. So I mean,
yeah, it's just a loss. I
think they're still number one in the
Western Conference.
Yeah, or in the whole standings in general. No, somehow Phoenix is 21-4. And Utah, what the heck? Utah's good this year. Dang.
Utah's been a good. I would say Utah's been a good. Like in recent, I was watching. They seem like they're a good regular season team. It's just they never can put it in.
But as we know, Curry needs
6
or 7 left to break Ray Allen. That's crazy. And then I saw this a couple of days ago. If Curry is to win MVP and win the finals this year, will he go down as more as the GOAT of the generation than LeBron? I'm like, no, but kinda, because he changed the way the game was played when he entered. I would say he's had more of an impact on the way the game's played than LeBron has.
I agree with you there. I think it's kind of Curry. It's kind of like Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson, a good player. Like he's good, but you're not gonna compare to Kobe or something. It's just changed the style of the game. Like he changed. He was more off the court. Like I would say LeBron's a better player on the court. Like he's all around. I'd rather have Durant even too, but I don't think that's really even fair to Curry to compare him to LeBron. You're not comparing you're not comparing the same position. How they play, their play styles are way different.
Yeah, I think what the main thing is just why they said that is because of what he's done this season and what he's done in the past couple of years. He's on pace to break his 3-point record in the season by a lot right now. His record's 402, but he's let's see. I'm about to see. Hold on. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's just problem is it's a shooter. I think LeBron. I think the thing is it's more consistency. Curry, it's his main thing is shooting. So when he gets the last 5 games, that's kind of really good. That Sixers game, he did not look good.
No, he shot terrible. I mean, but Thibault played.
Thibault's a good defense player.
Yeah, he reminds me of No, I wouldn't really say that. He doesn't really remind me of Tony Allen, but him and I would say Thibault and Dort are kind of the same in a way. They're both really good defensive players. They're both young, and they both have showed great glimpses on their teams, respectively. I think Thibault's going possibly. I don't think he'll be an all-time, but I think he'll be something in the NBA still.
I think he'd be a 1-time or 2-time All-Star.
Mm-hmm. But what about the Lakers this year? I thought they were actually going to kind of do something this year, but it's still early. I mean, they're still in playoff picture. They're 15-13. They've won their last 2.
Well, the problem is when your best players are like over the age of, well, I mean, besides AD, the best player over the
LeBron's
30.
playing like he's 28 and AD's playing like he's 34. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's not obvious, but
I think the playoffs, a lot of these teams is kind of like the thing.
mm-hmm.
Paying like we talk about the NFL. NFL is like it's like every game matters. Well, the NBA it's like you lose the games where you should have won. But at the end of the day, I mean every championship team loses to bad like teams that should have won against because it's an 8-game season. But I think the Lakers get back on track. I think it's.
I mean, Westbrook got back on track after what the Celtics did to him with that graphic. The Bulls have surprised me this year. I knew they were going to do good, but I didn't know they were going to start off this good. 17-10.
Well, they kind of fell off the last 5 games. They're 5-5.
They're 5-5. They lost their last 2, but I mean, they're winning.
That's all that matters. I mean, really, as long as you're at least like the top 3 seeds, you're in pretty good position.
I think Phoenix might fall off after the All-Star break.
Right.
If Devin Booker or Chris Paul gets injured, they're done.
I don't think they make it to the finals like they did last year. I think the thing is, I just don't. I think Chris Paul is he's a good player. Paul will never win a championship.
Yeah, he'll go down as
top 3 point guard, but I don't think he'll
one of the greatest point guards to ever play. But I mean, he's going to have records. But
in circumstances, it's just like. I mean, the problem is with Chris Paul though. Is I don't think he's a good player. I really don't. The finals showed it. He was not good. That he had like a couple good games, but then he looked like the Warriors. They had that 3-1 lead when he was in Houston. They blew it. I mean, it's just like I don't know how many opportunities he can have. I mean,
that year when he was on the Rockets playing against Golden State, they set him. The Rockets set him. They didn't let him play because he was injured apparently. And I feel like if Chris Paul would have played, that series would have been different.
It's a Chris Paul curse. Whenever he has a chance to win, he always gets injured.
Yeah.
We have a chance to win. Oh, it's like remember the Clippers. When he was on the Clippers, it's like they can win this first round or second round series. Oh, Chris Paul's injured. Just always in the wrong place at once.
I'm just looking at like the stats of the season, and Golden State is in each one of them except for blocks. They're third in points. They're first in points allowed. They're third in field goal, third in rebounding, first in point differential, and then they're not even on blocks yet. I don't think they're not in the top 5. But it's also the teams that they played too. That's the thing. Let's see here. They've played the Hawks, the Hornets, the Nets, Blazers, Suns, Sixers, Clippers. Well, Clippers aren't really that big. No, Clippers are a big name team. We just haven't heard from them this season because they're non-existent.
Yeah, my question is, what has happened to the NBA? I feel like the popularity for the NBA has really waned. Like, I felt like before pandemic times, like I felt the NBA was like rising and rising. I thought it was going to be the biggest sport.
I think the bubble might have done it, or COVID in general. It kind of because you couldn't go to them. That's a big thing. Like people want to go see them, not watch them on TV.
Yeah, it might be. I feel like, or maybe I'm just feeling this way because it's just this time of year because all the major sports are on right now. So it's kind of the NBA is kind of waning, NFL's on, and maybe that's where the attention's drawn to because NFL is only about 20 weeks. I don't know. I just feel like maybe, like you said, maybe the bubble. I mean, I remember our first couple episodes because we recorded our first couple episodes during the pandemic and during when it was really rampant.
If you look at the viewership from the past couple finals, they've been down. I think the worst finals was the bubble, the Lakers versus the Heat.
That was just timing too. I was just questioning. I'm just like it's just because I felt like the NBA was really on the rise 2019, even 2020. I think it was at its peak there, but then it just seems like it keeps. And I think I don't know. We talked about the bubble, but do you also think the fact that not a lot of new players are coming out? There's not been a huge star.
I mean LaMelo, he's kind of came up more. Who's even in this draft class coming up? Chet Holmgren and Baldwin and some dude from Duke. I don't know how to say his name, but those are the 3 main. But yeah, you really don't have any young stars in the NBA, really, if you think about it, other than LaMelo, Morant, Zion.
I wonder another thing that affects it is Zion. You think Zion would have really propelled the NBA to net status?
I mean, he hasn't played. He's only played like 85 games in 3 seasons.
The hype going into Zion, how there's like the Nets.
Generation of basketball.
It just doesn't feel like, I'm just saying, if LeBron retired, who's going to be like the next face of the NBA?
To think about that, but
it's too far away.
It's kind of far away to really predict anything that could happen and might happen.
Because it's just interesting. Of course, because I'm more an outside looking in the NBA lately than, when I was, on the peak like 2 years ago. When I thought the NBA, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the NBA is bigger than it's ever been, and I'm just, I just don't see
you don't hear about it as much.
But that could be because I'm not looking too.
You're about to see ads for the Christmas game coming up in about a week, or maybe midnight by Wednesday this week. You'll start seeing them.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, there's some good Christmas Day games.
But you think will NBA do good that day?
I think the only 2 games that will be really watched on Christmas Day is the Warriors and Suns and the Nets and Lakers. Those are the only 2 that will probably be watched. Because who's going to watch the Hawks and Knicks, or the Bucks and Celtics, or the Mavs and Jazz? Like, probably the best one is going to be Golden State versus Phoenix. That's going to be like the big one.
Because I know you're probably more into NBA than me. I'm just trying to start a conversation. Like, maybe I'm just seeing like why my interest level. It's like, do you think it's like advertising, or you just think it's?
I think it is advertising, because you don't, like you said, you don't really see anything for NBA. You mainly see it for football, like college football, NFL, and all that. Mainly advertising for the NBA starts like the week before All-Star break, because the All-Star game, and then like the last 2 weeks of the NBA season, because the playoffs are about to start back up. Mid-season and early season, you don't really see it. The only time you really see an advertising for the NBA is in the beginning, when the first games are about to be played.
Yeah.
You don't really see nothing from like October 30th to like February.
Yeah.
You really don't see nothing, unless it's like a big game, like Warriors and Nets, Bucks and Lakers, anything like that. I didn't even know the Cavs were playing tonight. They're playing against the Heat.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like you have to do more. Like, you have to find this out. Like, if you're huge into NBA, you have to find this out. And I feel like, you think that hurts them, or like it helps them?
It hurts early. It definitely hurts early. But you're not getting it out to those viewers that don't really watch basketball. But when you're down the road and you start advertising it, you're going to pull more views in. It's kind of simple.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because it's just like, I just don't see like, NBA. I'm just like, it feels like, like the peak, or maybe that's just me just thinking, I'm just thinking it's the wrong time of the year, and that's why I'm not seeing. And you're probably right about that. Another question is too, with like, we were talking about the bubble earlier. The NBA season should start in December.
I would be up for shortening the season, but I wouldn't want to start it later. I would be fine with it shortened.
My idea is, I'm saying like start it by like starting like maybe not October, starting like in November, like you said. I think shorten the season, but start it by like holiday time, because people are off more. So I think, and then people are like, well, I'm sitting at home, like the holidays. Like, I just want to turn on a sporting event. I think that would be perfect. They could capitalize it during Thanksgiving
Day games.
Also, I think June's a good time to end, maybe, or have it till July.
I feel like if you bumped it down, not by that much, maybe to like 73, but I still think you need to be above 60 though, games played for an NBA season. You gotta keep it that way, because a lot can happen in a season with injuries and trades and all that mess.
And that might affect it too, because there's so many games that when the primetime games do happen, players sit out.
Yeah, load management. Starting to see it more and more.
That might hurt the fans too. So
it really does, because you could legit have tickets for a game and you really want to go see that player. They sit out. They don't play. Then what's the point, really? And yeah, you get to see your team play, but you didn't get to see your favorite player play. And another thing is, why are all the games back to back? Like, you have 3 games starting at 7, and you have like 2 games start at 7:30. Then you have a game start at 8 and then 8:30. Like, what?
I think it's time zone.
That too.
All right.
I think we should end it because we're running out of topics too, and now it's starting to go into
now it's just like
Now it's starting to go into voidness where we won't talk.
So yeah, let's conclude episode 6 of the revival of Level Up Sports.
No, it's episode 1 of the revival.
Because
we rebranded.
we call it the Level Up Sports now, like in movies, like a Batman.
Yeah, we restarted episode 6 - episode 1, the revival. Woo-hoo.
So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and hopefully we will come up with another episode very soon. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Bye.
Adios.